Hey, it's Claire from Cluzie.
And Suzie from Cluzie. I put the Uzi in Cluzie.
So today, thank you so much for joining into our frequency. What we wanted to talk to you about today was just continual Fascial February. It's a bit of a mouthful.
I was going to say that 5 times fast.
Especially after a gin or two. Not that it's a bit early, but anyway. So today we're going to talk about the shoulder. So as I explained last week, our body is like a river. It should be flowing, but what happens when the river narrows? You get congestion. So the shoulder is one of those places where you get said congestion. And then there's the pelvis, the knees, and the ankles. So what we do with our fascial clients in the clinic, after we've removed some layers of inflammation, is we put them through their paces using some nice little tortured sticks and rollers and stuff that I bring out of my little toolbox. But what we get to do first is just to check the person's range of motion in their shoulders. So I'm going to put Suzie through her paces. Hopefully this doesn't get violent. So Suzie, what I would like you to do is just stand. That's right, with your knees slightly bent, feet hip width apart, toes and little toe, big toe, heel. And just slowly, and then I want you to spread your fingers and then just bring your shoulders, hands up until stop when you feel your first piece of tension. And where you feel the tension?
Through here and across the top here.
So 2 different places, but you stop at the same place. Yeah? Interesting. So what we would then do is put Suzie on the roller or the stick or the pressure ball, depending on which muscle we're working on. But we work the bones. We're working from the top of the skull down to the bottom of the ribs, because this is all classed as shoulder girdle, because this is where all the muscles attach. So we work through here, through here, through here, through here. It can be quite sensitive. To quote Ian O'Dwyer, who's the man that taught me all of this, he says sensitive. I say extraordinarily painful in parts. I don't think I've sworn as much as I did the first time you put me through my paces. So thanks for that, Ian, and thanks for the education. So after we do all the rolling, we do it over the bony prominences because the bone has fascia. We do it over the muscular curvature, the muscly bits, and we compress the knots and things out of the muscles, which will get the arms and the shoulder moving. But the beauty of this is that the shoulder is connected to the hip, so it also frees up the hips a little bit too. And then we get to do some little exercises. So I'm just going to run you through one exercise that we do in the clinic, just so you can see how intense the exercises are. So Suzie, again, feet hip width apart, weight evenly distributed, hands spread like so. It's important to spread your fingers like this because it spreads all the tissue. And then all she's doing, you'll lose her arm in the camera, but all she's doing is going up and slightly leaning over, called a lateral reach. So by doing that, she's stretching all the connective tissue all the way from her knees, basically, all the way across her neck. So she does that 10 times on each side. Pretty intense, hey? But what I love about this work is that you get to have a bit of fun as well. So after Suzie's done her rounds of exercises, there'll be a couple of more exercises called self-fascial mobilizations is the term that's been coined for these exercises. We get to have a bit of fun. You can do this against a wall, but I always find it's a bit funner when you've got someone. So we're going to do like a clock. So Suzie just has to mirror me. And she's... And then you end up, this is where it potentially gets violent, because where's your laughter? So if you know my wife, you know she concentrates, she doesn't want to get it wrong. But when we practiced this, there was a little bit of argy-bargy and a bit of punchy-wunchy, but we're all right. We love each other again. And then after we've done all that, we go recheck. Now, we've only done 2 things with Suzie, but now she's going to recheck in that position. Hands really spread, babe. And just bring your arms forward and stop where you feel tension. And sometimes what you'll find is that one arm will keep going and the other one will stop. So what you found with Suzie, so that was just after 2 exercises that the right arm, which is Suzie's problem arm because of beach volleyball, did you still feel the tension through here? No. Where did you find it that time?
It's more around the back.
Yeah. So just doing those 2 things, she got more range of motion out of her shoulders. And the tightness and tension had moved. And could you imagine, if that's what we do with 2, tiny little movements and a little bit of fun, what you can do with the roller on all those structures. So once again, it's really super important to get all that tissue moving, because if you're hypermobile like we are, stretching doesn't cut it, because the muscles are like, whatever, the ligaments are letting me do, the ligaments are like, I'm just going to go over here and nobody cares. But the connective tissue is what makes us stiff. So we do this kind of stuff at home a couple of times a week. And then I go to see Ian, who was the one that taught me all of this, is one of the world's leading movement specialists. I have the pleasure of having him a half an hour drive from here. So I see him once a month just to help release all of that. And I swear to God, I've gone back to a 30-year-old body, probably better than I was when I was 30. So it's super important. So if you want to know more, let me know, because we can run these programs remotely. So let me know, or book in and come into the torture chamber. Anything to add, babe?
No, today was not painful. I liked it.
See you next week.